Okay. Good evening. Open the meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen on Thursday, December 4th. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I don't have any particular announcements right now. I will open now comments and concerns of the citizens. Please.
Hi. I have some comments and concerns about open action items not being followed up on.
I'm sorry, could you?
Open action items not being followed up on.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Small list.
balls are being dropped. Several times residents have asked the select board minutes and agendas list open action items. This has been discussed, and it was decided that they would be added to either the minutes or the agenda. We want our town manager to be successful, and this would be helpful to keep track of the many, many, many things we just throw at him all week long. He's having to juggle balls. This way, residents don't have to attend an open meeting and yell and insult our town manager because they want meeting minutes posted. It shouldn't get to that point. So again, having the open action items tracked and followed up on would be helpful. May 24th, I had an open records request in since May of 2024 for documents concerning Bay State. Examples would be like legal review, opinion concerning Lewis Gill Trust, letters from Bay State concerning the shutdown, promises, support, all that kind of stuff. And that request, the town clerk and the town manager went back and forth, also with Mr. Cassio, about KP Law and reviewing them and looking to see what is attorney-client privilege. It turned into this big, huge thing when it really wasn't necessary. But anyway, I had filed a complaint with the state. The town submitted a response. It did not make sense. I appealed, and still I have not received any copies of any documents concerning Bay State. Since June 24, many requests have been made that Pat Davidson, special counsel, provide the residents with a summary of her activity performed. This would be things like meetings with Bay State or with Bank of America, all that activity. And even most recently, Miss Jane Agnew in August brought it up to the select board. And again, it was said, yes, let's get that information over to the residents. She brought it up again in October. Yes, let's get that information over to the residents. Still nothing has been shared. So, just another open item. May and June, I asked for a copy of the letter that our legal counsel, Pat Davidson, sent to Bank of America, saying that the town select board voted to support Bay State's proposal. As you know, many of us have been fighting that, and we want a copy of that letter. It was brought up, it was said yes, and we still haven't gotten it. Then there are building department appeal process issues that have been talked about many times. At one meeting it was discussed, and it was confusing whether the KP Law's opinion was talking about if it was the demo delay or if it was just building department complaints. It was vague, so that was supposed to be followed up on. And then also just the issue of elevating complaints with the building department. Sometimes the building department acts like a dictatorship because there is no checks and balances for people to elevate complaints. Recently I heard about another resident. It got so bad the resident came in screaming and yelling because for a long time they were asking for something to be done. It wasn't done. And so it escalates to screaming and yelling. And then finally, 4 days later, they ended up doing what they were supposed to do. We have another thing going on right now about trying to determine who our de facto urban renewal agency is. and that is between the Community Development Authority and the Housing Authority. We're trying to figure that out. Stuart's been very involved in that, and that needs to be done, so that way, if somebody wants to come along and develop on the Mary Lane site and wants to take advantage of those state incentives with tax benefits and low interest rate loans, it has to go through something like that. I submitted an open meeting violation complaint with the state concerning the May 6th illegal and unethical executive session in which 3 of the 4 select board members voted to support Bay State's healthcare proposal. When I did that, I also submitted other documents. This complaint is now in the queue, which is going to be reviewed pretty soon. And when I had submitted that, I sent in clippings of all the agendas in the last 2 years that had an executive session. Out of the 36, 11 of them did not mention any subject at all. That is against open meeting laws. You have to at least put the subject. So when this comes up to review, when the town works with the resolution and remedy to that, I hope that they will then give a description of what those 11 executive session meetings were about, some kind of subject. Recently, some of the select board members have made comments about volunteers, that residents shouldn't be yelling at volunteers, select board members, town committees. It's just not respectful. And that it's hard to find volunteers. So when people, the town's full of volunteers. We've got people, we don't have to be on a select board or a town committee. There's volunteers all over this town trying to make this town better. So trying to keep up with open action items, trying to work with residents, trying to encourage and cultivate volunteers rather than deterring them from getting involved in anything with the town would be nice. Quick update on Mary Lane. Mr. Beckley, Mr. Cassio, myself, and Ann Bigna were all in a meeting with Wayfinders. They did say that they would be interested in developing a mixed income senior living community over on the Mary Lane site, which then also led to conversations about getting more defined of what continuing care is. Does it have to be the same owner does it, or are they partnering all within the district, all doing certain things for that full continuing care environment? Ann Bigda was able to make a contact with Quabog Rehabilitation. They're always maxed out. The corporate name of that large nonprofit is Accentria. So it led to me having a couple of conversations with the CEO of Accentria. They would be interested in, they're looking into it, they're doing more of the numbers. They're at the first level of doing the numbers. Then they would have to devote money to doing a full analysis, but to possibly build a nursing home, memory care, and even independent living. Touched upon the idea, I think it's kind of not something in their short term for sure, is offering medical services. So again, it's working to try to get this full package over at the Healthcare Services District. And at some point, our town will most likely have to appoint a Healthcare Services District Committee to start working on this stuff. And then lastly, I'm sure a lot of people heard about the Bay State financial problems that were just recently disclosed. They disclosed that they lost $146 million in 2024, and that is after losing $300 million in the few years before that. They announced that they are trying to get 1,300 employees to do voluntary separation, and that is after the hundreds of people they've already laid off. So Bay State's financial position has not gotten any better. I am hoping that my question to the town is, to the select board is, how can we as residents petition somehow the select board to rethink their July 1st vote to support Bay State, now knowing again, they did again say that they are only offering primary care, not convenient care. Only if the primary care is successful, will they then expand it to convenient care someday. So this is not some quick fix thing that they're gonna come in and in order for that primary care office to become successful, people have to give up their current primary care and then support the new office. I think, I know that sometimes it's a long way to get a new primary, but, so I'm just hoping, my question is to the town, how can we get the select board to rethink their vote, look at the current situation, now that we have their audit, which was vacuous, some of the information did not even match what the tax returns say. So, review the situation, ask what the other communities want, get a current situation, now that we know that they're still having financial problems. So does anyone here know what the residents could do to try to get the town to rethink that vote? Yeah.
I mean, I think you just did it. I do think, although I can't confirm, or haven't been able to confirm, that that letter from Bank of America has been submitted to probate, but I haven't seen evidence of that. It was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago. I also, if you're asking, I don't think anything you're proposing is going to happen any quicker. And you're just talking about money. No one on the board or me or otherwise has ever said anything about being against healthcare. Everyone understands the need for healthcare, and that Bay State's proposal doesn't cover everything. It doesn't. This is, when the board voted, their opinion, my opinion, the quickest way to have some healthcare come to town. Doesn't mean we should stop looking for others. As you know, we submitted letters of ideas for the rural equity funds. Hopefully that comes through for the state, because that would be a complete game changer for rural health, including here. So,
But so the fact is, if Bay State has a primary care, it blocks federally qualified healthcare from coming to town.
it doesn't.
They're required.
Are you saying there's not primary care in Worcester where there are other federal healthcare places? Because there's certainly
Well,
federal
you did
healthcare
see
that-
Caring Health's letter. They canceled our meeting because the town decided to support Bay State. And
Understood.
Excuse me?
Understood,
Right,
because of the
and-
money, but it's not because there's primary care.
It's because of the funding. So if Bay State keeps, if this vote is to let Bay State keep control of those trust funds, then Caring Health will not come to town, neither will anyone else. And I was actually speaking to Essentra, and they would want to be able to qualify for the distributions also.
Right, so two different things.
Well,
Hey,
sorry,
Josh.
wait a minute. Hey, Josh.
When the
They
comments and concerns-
stopped in the moment because the trust funds weren't available. Caring Health or Hilltown Health did not say they're not coming, they just need money to come. And you're seeing that as the only source. If the other federal funds come, big if these days, but that's 500 million coming to the Commonwealth. I am sure they would still be interested in coming to the town of Ware.
But you know
It
that
didn't
the
change their-
volumes and numbers for rural healthcare are very slim. They're gonna need that volume to justify coming to the town. So they are required to offer primary care. That's one of the requirements. But then they also offer the dental, the OBGYN, they can offer a lot of other things that Bay State can't offer, but they are required to offer primary care. So if Bay State, if we say, here, Bay State, you get to keep control of the funds, you open up a primary care, that does block federally qualified. It's debatable, if you may not agree.
No, but you're saying it blocks them from coming to Ware, that's not accurate. It blocks them from using the trust funds.
They will not come to Ware if they don't have access to the trust funds.
Or another source of funding.
All right, so, well, anyway, so my question is there a way to have the select board rethink that July 1st vote, now that we know that Bay State's financial situation is even worse than it was before? They're laying off, trying to get rid of 1,300 more people. Is there a way to rethink this? I mean, is the board comfortable now that we know this?
I don't know why you're looking at me when the board is right in front of you.
Sorry.
And the board has, as you're well aware, you have asked this question before, and the board has said no. So I would ask it, if you want, ask it again, and see if the board wants to put it on a future agenda, but.
So the question is, if the residents had a petition, what is the process for getting the board to rethink that vote?
I think you're doing it, you're asking them.
This is it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and if I can, you made a request to the board. I think it would be up to the board to decide if they want to put that request on a future agenda. I don't think you need a petition. But on the other hand, I'm not so sure you're going to get the outcome you're expecting. I think and the facts the information you've shared, some of it's new to me, most of it is not. What you shared about Bay State's financial condition is what has been reported, but I think in all fairness, for the request that's being made, if we were to entertain it, we would have to invite Bay State to come back and to respond to that. And to be able to say, what is their financial standing? How does it impact their plan and where? Exactly what is it they are thinking of doing here? And how does that align with what the board was thinking? I was not part of the July 1 vote, so I don't mean to put words in the board members who were there, but my thinking is that's a process, and it would, to some degree, have to get an update on the information from Bay State to address some of those questions, so that the board has the information, if they so choose, to be able to make an informed vote.
In lieu of what you just said, Ken, would we invite anybody else other than, along with Bay State, to voice a opposition opinion?
My own opinion, from what I've heard in the public conversation and what Cynthia has presented many times, I don't know that that's needed. I believe, this is my belief,
Yeah.
that the concerns of Cynthia have been well stated. They're in the minutes, that it's, from my perspective, it's what's changed within Bay State. The question of financial, the question of what's the level of service you're offering, the question of where are you in terms of this plan. I think those are legitimate questions, and I think it would be Bay State's duty, it would be Bay State's responsibility to respond to those, and then for the board to reflect on the previous conversations from members, as well as any information that we've gained. But I don't see it as a back and forth, point, counterpoint, defense, prosecution, offense, defense. No, I think it's information gathering for the board, is how I would view it.
Yeah.
And possibly also consider what the other towns, the other town select board members had opposed having this vote done without their, it's not just where, it was also.
I'll just speak for myself, Cynthia.
Yeah,
That is not high on my list of concerns in this discussion. The question was to Ware, what was Ware's thinking, and we can only represent Ware. And we did what we were, again, I was not part of that conversation, looking retrospectively. We responded to the request, we met our obligation, and again, as I stated, my thinking would be to hear from Bay State, what is the current update and how does that change our thinking, if at all? Just my thought.
So I'd like to say, I think we should have Bay State come in. I am curious about their financial state. Cynthia, to address you and the concerns of other towns, I don't care. It sounds awful. I'm not trying to be facetious here or a jerk in any way, but do you honestly think that this was a blindside of the selectmen of Hardwick, that they didn't know discussions were happening in the next town over? Of course they did. They absolutely did.
Okay.
I know their agenda. It's online. We know their town manager, former employee here. They knew what was being discussed through gossip, through Facebook, through forums. To sit there and say they didn't know, that's a lie. They want to just jump on a bandwagon where they can be tickled, I guess. But to sit there and say that I never got a phone call or an email, I don't know if Ms. Talbot did, but I know I certainly didn't, saying, hey, can we come to a meeting and have a sit-down discussion? Never was that even considered. The hospital's been closed. They knew that. Their residents knew that. But inside the bounds of where is what we are for. We can't be having somebody outside of our town control our monies here. Well, I get what the trust and funds are meant for. That's not how this world works like that. If Hardwick would have come and asked to be part of our meetings, we would have openly accepted and heard what they wanted to say and hear their opinions. But they never reached out. So due diligence needs
I
to...
totally agree. If anything, Bank of America should have surveyed Hardwick.
So-
Bay State should have surveyed Hardwick.
But I do think that Bay State should come and at least provide some type of update for this community going forward with the stuff that I've seen on the news, what you have seen, what we have all seen. It is a concern. It's a concern for me. It's a concern for you, residents. But I would like it to be where, like Jack, what you're saying, with no opposition, I would like to have them come in and we get to ask them the questions that we think of. And not to not include the public, but that's our job, is to maybe gather some input from the public on what we should be looking to and asking and discussing.
Yeah.
I think that is a little bit more of a professional role on our end as our board, because we are speaking for our resident, and then this way it also gives a little bit of, not that I care about how they feel, but they'll be more receptive of that. It also may help keep decorum a little bit cleaner in the discussions. I would like to really, I mean, I would like to have something put on in the future to have a conversation with Bay State.
Yeah, I mean, I would make a motion that we have this as a discussion item for the next town meeting. And that way there, people that want it, are aware of it, they can come to the meeting, get their input, and
Well,
something.
You mean the select board, not town meeting, is?
No,
town-
selectmen's board, that
Yeah,
next
okay,
selectmen's
okay,
board meeting.
I just wanted to make sure we're clear on that, because like town meeting, I was like, this will turn into
It'll
a
get,
show.
as people have some concerns, they'll give an opportunity for us to hear what
Well,
they have to say, and if it should be Bay State or somebody else.
Correct.
Let's get as much information as we can, let's put it on the agenda, and let's move on to the next item.
Okay. I mean, I mean, I'm absolutely willing, and I think that's a wise thing, is to have an open forum. I don't know if it should be the next one, to be honest with you. Maybe after the new year, we can start that.
We can have two meetings, I mean, there's no.
You know, just to gain, well, if we do one meeting, we know it's gonna be a long one. We already have stuff probably scheduled for the next one. So we can look to, after the new year, putting something like this on, having a forum where we'll have the comments, concerns, the consent agenda, and then that's it. We will have the discussion, because we know that there's gonna be people of concern.
Yeah.
And at that time, why don't we throw out an invite for the Hardwick Select Board?
Okay, that was gonna be my,
Why don't we?
yeah,
Let's see what they wanna come to the table, and when they're here, they will have a priority to speak, and, or at least let's maybe not have it this month. I'm trying to brainstorm here as I'm doing this. Maybe we can reach out to them, ask them about, this is what we're doing. At one of their meetings, they gain information from their residents. They can bring that here to the forum on behalf of their residents. So this way it's not, 25% of Hardwick and then whatever percentage of where. try to organize this so it's in a more distinguished and profiles, and streamline this so it's, nobody's talking over each other, they get the respect and the opportunity they get. And then, at the same time, we get to meet them, they get to meet us. We can kind of go forward and maybe have a better relationship with our neighbors next door.
That was the only thing that I was going to bring up, is that if I remember correctly, I think that some people from Hardwick, as we were going through this process over the months, a couple of people came in
Correct.
and they were concerned that they had, and these are my words, not been invited to partake. So that's what my concern is, what you've just addressed. So we would be inviting some folks from Hardwick.
I mean, I don't think it's an issue at all to ask the neighboring town, but again, have them do the work like we're gonna do. Get a forum or a meeting together.
Receive information from them, after that, we'll make a decision.
Yep.
That's exactly it, sure. Many people say, what?
I'd like to suggest for the board's consideration, the request, if I understood Cynthia's request, was for the board to reconsider an earlier vote. I would strongly urge that when we meet with Bay State, the focus of that meeting has got to be to address the Ware Select Board's need for information to respond to the request. It's got to be, it's the opportunity to have a focused conversation representing our citizenry and us as select board members and what we feel is in the best interest of Ware. I'm hesitant to be supportive of expanding the invitees to bring on other communities, other organizations, other entities at this time. I think the request was of this board to reconsider its vote with the information it had back at that time. And I think getting an update on the information as to where it is now is appropriate. And once we have that, if we want to go to the next step of holding a joint select board meeting with the neighboring town, but I feel my obligation is to be as informed as I can as a Ware Select Board member with the Ware perspective in a Ware-focused conversation and reflect on that and then decide what the next step is.
Okay, so we would be voting on the concern that Cindy brought up.
I mean, not necessarily. Okay, that was just a request to the board. Okay, we can decide what we want to do, and we can decide what our agenda is.
Correct.
And I think if our agenda is, we'd like to bring in.
I thought there was a motion made, I'm sorry.
No, there was no motion made.
John made a motion to bring Bay State in
Yes.
to the next select board meeting, and that started a conversation about
Okay.
when, and that involved into, do we want to invite Hardwick, and then
Yeah.
I jumped in.
Yeah, so that's, yeah.
But just so you, I wouldn't want Hardwick here with Bay State. I would want to have gathering all information
Yeah.
prior to.
Exactly,
And
yes.
so we can either do it before or after, but yes, sorry if I wasn't clear. I don't want Hardwick, I mean, obviously they can it's open to the public, but to have them up here to then go and ask them, it's on us. But I wanted to open up to say, let's see what you're looking at. Maybe you are seeing something or whatnot, or this or that, where we can get better information. But yes, it was not to have them, when Bay State would be here, it would be the Ware Select Board with our questions that we felt either came from the public, from the Hardwick Select Board, from wherever it is this is what we're doing to address it.
Yep.
And we'll throw in questions of concern, each one of us, again, because it's our concern.
Yep.
But it was to not have everybody here
Okay.
with Bay State. I'm sorry if I was not clear on that. It was not that intent.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, it's a public hearing. Information is information is information. Hear what they have to say, and we'll decide for ourselves. I mean, we are not obligated to do what they want. We are here to listen to them. So again, I think public meetings have exactly that purpose. Bring in as many people as you possibly can get all the information, and from that, come up and making an informed decision. There's nothing harmful harmful in having somebody else from another town give input. I can see nothing negative
For
though.
that, we are, it's just not the day that Bay State would
What?
come, we would be doing that. It's just not the day that Bay State we're requesting to be here. It wouldn't be that. You'll lose decorum, you'll lose control of the meeting relatively fast.
Okay.
Stuart?
Just wanted to
Oh,
point that.
Yeah,
Go ahead, you are, can we unmute her? And, there you are.
Alright. I lowered my hand and forgot to turn the sound back up. Thank you. I'd like to, propose 2 clarifications. First of all, Josh, I don't believe that you don't care about Hardwick. I believe, like what Ken said, that your responsibility is solely with town of Ware. So, and I just want to make that publicly clear. It's not that you don't care, it's that your responsibility is to the town. The second thing is that Stuart and Cindy each raised an issue, and it sounded like a difference of opinion that as a resident, I would very much like clarified, and I wonder if the board could maybe address. It's my understanding that what Cindy said is true, that if Bay State is allowed to bring primary care into Ware, that's where it would stay, that other entities will not come. So, but what I heard Stuart say, and I can be corrected if I'm wrong, is opposite to that. So, or maybe there's some facets of that I'm not aware of that maybe would allow for other entities to come into town. I, as a resident, would appreciate having that clarified. Not necessarily tonight, but just at some point soon.
I can,
Thank you.
happy to ask the other health centers.
Okay.
I want to bring this to closure then. What are we gonna do?
So January 8th is the first select board meeting in the month of January. I suggest that we send an invitation to Bay State to appear and that we have a conversation with them, and we're looking for an update and to have a dialogue with them and to share some concerns that we have heard and give them the opportunity to respond to that.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, so as I said, this is gonna be a public meeting. Other people that wanna come to the meeting, they can come, get their input, and if they're from another town, that's okay too.
Well, you're partially right, John, on that.
It is public,
It is public, but it is not,
and
it is not.
the chair can
necessarily
set,
Correct, the
It-
boundaries.
the chair can set the boundaries.
Well, yeah, you can recognize the people, you don't have to recognize the people.
Correct.
But again,
Correct. But
as I
it-
said, the more information you have, the better decisions you make. Go ahead. Thank you.
So,
All right.
I mean, do we wanna you wanna put a motion in to make that request?
Yes, I would move that the board through the town manager invite Bay State to our January 8th meeting to have a conversation about the status
Six.
of healthcare.
Yeah,
Six.
Six? Six, January 6th, thank you.
Nicole's the hawk, I mean, she.
Thank you, Nicole. January 6th, to have a conversation about the status of healthcare and where through
And
Bay
that
State.
convenience, their facility that they have proposed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Alright, so we have a motion on the floor, do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have the consent agenda? That's where we're.
Yeah, we just have the special event.
Oh, may I ask a question first about one of
Yeah.
Mrs.
Yes,
Borsier's-
Cindy, don't leave yet.
Oh, just a question about one of Mrs. Borsier's comments. She's accurate, the board has asked for a list of ongoing pieces, and that's what we thought we were trying to collect when we added the roundtable item.
Mm-hmm.
But how, I guess, what would you like listed under that?
As
Just,
far, when we just have a
everything
roundtable?
well, in terms of, before you got here, Mrs. Borsier has said she'd like the agenda to have a list of ongoing outstanding issues. Let's pick on your crosswalk.
Yeah.
That could be there. Do you want a list of all of those, or do you want that somewhere else?
Just a question in reflecting on what Cynthia had said, and Cynthia, I'll reach out to you and have a conversation with you so I can better understand it, is there are things that the board is concerned about, and there may be things that citizens are concerned about. And I want to be sure we understand what is getting on the to-do list, if you will, for Stuart and the board to get engaged with. So I just want to get a better understanding of what Cynthia was describing, what her concerns were, and so that I can talk about it a little more informed. Right now, I'm not quite sure. So Stuart, I would say, I say right now, I say let's just keep things the way they are and gather some more details.
I would too, because I think the problem is that we, as select board, we would also have, comments that we would make under comments and concerns, which would degrade from the citizens. This was more or less select board's ability to have our comments and concerns towards the end of the meeting, where
Exactly.
their audience may not would be here. It's, all that does is give us our thoughts and stuff like that. Like Jack gets a lot of feedback, Ken gets it. We all get feedback, and that's the time that we can sit there and kind of share it, and we don't have to delay the meeting further for public hearings and other stuff like that, and appearances. I don't think that we would have a list, because unless you somehow became a mind reader, which you do, play the lottery and share some, I don't think that we can do that, because stuff comes up, before the meetings, I know Jack has had it, I've had it, where a day before the meeting, there's something in it and the schedule's already been printed. And to go and redo it, we just can't do it. This is kind of a unwritten document that we get to just say, hey, these are concerns for us going forward. Can we get an update on the sidewalks? Can we get an update on the building that's falling apart somewhere? Or it's just our time to have something that isn't set in the schedule for us. That's all the roundtable discussion is. It's not necessarily line items.
Yeah, I agree, so what I'm envisioning, obviously I've done meeting minutes before, and I always like to put what the action items are, so that way when I'm doing the next agenda, I can see which things are outstanding, and I carry them over onto the new agenda. These petty little things, it's too many to be putting on every time for an agenda, but at least when people are reviewing the meeting minutes, if they are listed there, that, okay, so Stuart's gonna give a copy of Pat Davidson letter over to blah, 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 then if it's on there, then at least maybe it won't get dropped. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what your main concern is, I believe, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so we can do that, right?
If you're looking at the meeting minutes and you're
That's what we have
approving the
notes
meeting
for,
minutes.
right?
Right, but I think this is actually probably the solution. Where I do try to keep track of them and report out to the board is in the town manager's report. Learned today from the town attorney, I shouldn't just be listing town manager report on the agenda, I should list everything that's under it on the
Okay.
agenda.
All
And
right.
that would cover 80% of the things that you're looking for.
Okay.
It
Kind of
just
sounds kind
makes-
of obnoxious, to be honest with you.
That's what I told the town attorney, but
Do you want me to tell her?
no, the attorney general rules, so we will listen to the attorney general, so.
I have no problem letting her know my opinion.
No,
Life.
seems right.
Thank you, Stuart.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
Cynthia.
All right, so we'll go into the consent agenda.
Okay, I move that the board of selectmen approve the celebrate the seasons. That would be the tree and leaf stroll, December 6th and 7th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the town hall, Great Hall, sponsored by the Ware Center Meeting House.
All right. And then, well, the next ones are licenses. So, we have a motion for the, special event. Are any questions? All right, I'll move to, approve the special event, application 25-27 to celebrate the season.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I also move to approve one-day liquor licenses, 25-30, Workshop 13, December 14th, from 3 to 7 p.m. for a private party, and 25-40, Workshop 13 for December 27th, 6 to 10 p.m. for holiday hangover P1.
It's Brandon Horn,
Yeah.
he's a local, musician, artist.
Okay.
So, all right, John made a motion on that one. Do we need a discussion? Hearing none. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So 6:40, look at that. I mean, yeah, we will. 6:40, so we have the scheduled appearance from the ABCC and entertainment license for Lost Towns Brewing Company located at 44 East Street. I will read the public hearing notice into the minutes. The select board will conduct a public hearing on December 2nd, 2025 at 6:40 PM in the Selectmen's Meeting Room, 126 Main Street, Ware, Mass. To hear application for new on-premises selection 12 malt Farmer Series pouring permit license and entertainment license for Lost Town Brewing Company at 44 East Main Street, Ware, Mass. Copies of the petition are available at the office of the town manager, 126 Main Street, Ware, Mass. All interested parties are invited to attend. Ms. Talbot, Chair. So, guys, if you want, come up, sit next to
Tell us about it.
Stuart, and we'd love to hear it.
Yeah. Tell us all about what you're doing.
Hi, I'm Pam, this is
I'm
Jim. We're owners of Lost Towns Brewing, and we are a nano brewery. And as a farmer brewer, it means that we brew all of the product that we serve at our brewery, so we don't carry anybody else's alcoholic products. Non-alcoholic products, we do carry local sodas, we aren't brewing our own soda. But all of our alcoholic products, we brew on property in Gilbertville. We are looking to work in the stone mill, and that's what our application is in front of you guys. We were approached by the owners of the stone mill. They're revitalizing the property down there. Their long-term tenant, Berkshire Blankets, had moved out. And we went over and we found a beautiful space in a beautiful town, which marries to what it is that we've always focused on at Lost Towns Brewing, which is that the craft beer community is part of community. That's what we focus on, is how can we reach the people in our community and do good things, do good works with them, give them a place to gather, a place to spend time with their neighbors. So we focus on, that's part of the entertainment license that we're requesting. We focus on music, we focus on visual arts. We have local artists that hang their work in our facility. Also with our beer ourselves, it's craft brewing, so it's not a mass-produced product. It's a product that we put a lot of passion and energy into. We source a lot of local ingredients. We know a lot of the farmers that we're getting our products from, or the producers who are working with the farmers, so that would include our hops, our malt, some of our adjuncts like our fruits. What else can we tell you about it?
When do you open?
When are we open? Right now. When would we open?
Yeah, projection.
So, right now, we're still working with our building permit through the town of Ware. I believe that the work in our unit will be finished by the end of this month. I do know that the landlord is continuing to work on projects, once again, with the building department, that he needed to do to transition his property from being a single tenant property to where there's going to be multiple tenants in the property. I don't know what his completion date is right now. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I know that he was trying to marry with our time frame. So we would like to be open in January. One of the other things that's slowing us down is that the federal government was closed, and so we needed to update our federal license. So we're waiting to hear back from them. We've had some communication with them, and they seem to believe that they will be able to complete this for us in December. But the way their process works, it's very,
Surreal.
it is.
It goes into a queue, and when our number comes up, our number comes up. Yeah.
So we wait it out. But the state has been super helpful. Ryan up at the ABCC has been helpful. He's allowed us to continue to work with you all at our local liquor authority to get all of this in place, so that once that federal number is issued for the amendment to our license, that then it gets applied to all the other licenses, and it will come together very quickly. So was that and we hope early January, but we understand that there's a process involved.
You have a good landlord. I'll tell
Thank
that.
you.
Very
Thank you.
good.
How many people in this whole?
So right now, and this is one of the things I was just talking with Nicole about. So we've been working with Larry Tuttle, who is the architect who's working with the building owner and also with us on our tenant space. So he has anticipated that he will be stamping the drawings for 90 people. He just wasn't in a position to stamp them yet. It was our understanding that the ABCC does not need stamped drawings, that the person who needs stamped drawings is Anna down here in your building department. And Anna is working very closely with Larry. So when we get our occupancy, which is when we can actually let people in the door, we'll have a stamped drawing. But until that time, we're working off of Larry's expected number, which is 90, which has less to do with our space and a little bit more to do with the building, making sure that the ADA compliance and the bathrooms and things of that nature. Because the bathrooms are part of the landlord space, not part of our personal tenant space.
Will you be serving food?
We will be serving pre-packaged snacks, and that's in compliance with TIPS certification training, because you want to make sure that when people are consuming alcohol, that they have something, to consume with it, so that they're responsibly consuming. But we're not looking to be a victualler. We're not looking to provide hot foods. We're hoping that our landlord will attract other people to do that. Plus, there's some great places on Main Street where you can get takeout, and we will always welcome outside food into our space, which is what we
That's
do
phenomenal.
in Gilbertville too. We encourage, once again, the community, so that if you're in the mood for subs, that you can go down and get them from Nico's, or if you wanted something, like a little fish dinner, you could grab that at Hannah's and bring it on up.
Okay.
So we like to get everybody involved. So it's not our goal to have anything other than the pretzels, the nuts, the things to make sure that people are consuming responsibly and give them the opportunity to go out and interact with our neighbors.
I, for one, am a big fan of the beverages, so.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's phenomenal that's coming to Ware. It's
thank
great.
Yeah.
It's not a far trip for me, but it's a little bit closer, so it's even better. And I think the business overall is phenomenal, and I hear more great reviews on everything that you guys do, so. Anybody else have discussions, questions?
I have a question. This is my first entertainment application as a select board member. And I note that on the application, they list the hours of entertainment as starting Sunday through Saturday, but your hours of operation are less than that in the beginning, correct?
So what they asked us to put on the application, let me look, because I've got it here. So on the application, it said that we're asking for it for the full week because we want to be able to offer our space for a private event. So if you were gonna have a baby shower and you wanted to have a guy come in and do acoustic guitar, that's why it's listed the way it is on the application. And this was a recommendation from the planning board when we filled this out.
That's
because-
common practice on our planning board.
Okay.
Our planning board does a great job at looking out for new business interests, giving you guys the opportunity to expand, do what you have to. We have a phenomenal board.
Yeah, and Paralee was super helpful. So that's why it looks like it doesn't match, because our usual hours of operation right now that we're planning on are gonna be that Wednesday through Sunday. And we're looking at continuing our current live music schedule, which is Sunday afternoons, Saturday evenings, and Friday evenings. We're looking at adding things like perhaps like trivia night or a game night in on the Wednesdays and Thursdays, which we've dabbled with over there a little bit. We've done a little karaoke, things of that nature. But the expansive request is around the idea that somebody could say, I want to have an anniversary party with you guys, or the baby shower. And so if we hadn't filled out the more expansive hours, then we would be
You have
in
limited.
violation of what it is that,
Yeah.
that we asked you guys, and we don't want to do
Okay.
that.
A second question, and I don't know if Stuart or Nicole can answer this. The planning board, when they issued the special permit back in August, added language that the special permit, if I read it correctly, the approval would be rescinded if complaints that could not be resolved were filed. And they were talking, I believe, specifically around the entertainment and noise.
Correct.
So, two questions I have is, if that situation did in fact happen, and under the terms of the planning board special permit, the approval was revoked, what's the impact on the licensing that we're looking at? Which one has jurisdiction? Does the loss of the entertainment special permit from the planning board require that the entertainment license issued by the board be altered.
They're two separate, and they can't operate without either one, which I'm not sure answers your question, but, so, if,
The loss of one means they have to stop offering entertainment. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
till it's resolved.
And I don't know if it reflected in the notes, but we were amenable to that.
Yeah.
The last thing we want to do is to be disruptive to the mill, because
Yeah.
we're going to have neighbors inside of the mill. It's not, the landlord is renting to multiple people. So we need to make sure that our noise level doesn't impact them. And then the greater question is would it impact anybody outside of the building? And that would be even worse. So we have, two levels of impact that we are going to be very vigilant in ensuring that it does not happen.
If I can ask Pam, you
Sure.
mentioned that the broader hours of operation were listed, so you could do the private parties who might bring in their own entertainment, if I understood correctly. But it's your license and permit.
Correct.
So if there is a complaint filed against noise that generates from a private party being held under your application.
Under my license.
Yes,
Correct.
you're gonna, I'm assuming you'll take responsibility for that and you will deal with it.
Correct. If we have somebody in for a private party, still because we have the controlled substances, the ABCC, it is still all under our licensing. So it's not like we just give them the keys and let them go in and use the space. We still operate the same way and with the same protocols and the
Right,
safety.
so a member of
and
your
all that.
staff will be there to.
Correct,
Okay.
yes, yep. It's never a turn over the keys situation. It's always with our staff members trained in handling a controlled substance and also meeting all of our other legal obligations on site.
Okay.
Yep.
Nicole, did you have something?
I did put on their ABC permit that their hours of operation would be Monday to Saturday, 11 to 11, and Sunday, 12 to 7. Because like you said, you're gonna have those private parties.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, we hope to.
All right, then, doing nothing, I would move that the Wareham Board of Selectmen approve the application for a new on-site premises, section 12 malt, farmer series, pouring permit license, and an entertainment license for Lost Towns Brewing Company at 44 East Main Street, Wareham, Mass.
Second.
Hold on, Stuart.
Just in addition to the note of having the license reflect the hours, could either part of the motion or just the board acknowledge that the town will hold the license until there's a certificate of occupancy?
Okay.
Yes,
So we just have that in the motion.
yeah, and include that, until we have we'll hold this until you actually have a license from the state. Is that what it is?
Certificate of
Two
occupancy.
different things,
Yep, the CO.
The state and
Yep.
Okay.
Anna.
All right.
All right, so with that, we have a need for any further discussion. Hearing none, we'll look for a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Congratulations, thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Thank
Invite
you.
us to the ribbon cutting. Invite us to the ribbon cutting. I can't
Oh,
wait.
yeah, I
Oh,
know.
yeah,
I'll
we
let you
definitely
guys know for sure. We will extend
We want to be
personal
part of the
invitation.
first draft.
Yeah, you know.
That's why we're there.
That's a draft we want to attend.
There we go. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. It's good to see you, thank you.
Okay. So we have appointments under none, old business none. We have under new business a request to schedule a public hearing on December 16th, 2025 at 6:40 for an ABCC change of manager for the Walmart store. So the select board will be, well, no, all we need is a motion for that, right? We don't have to, yeah, it's just,
Scheduled.
yeah, that's all. So we'll make so do we have, we have to make a motion for the schedule of it, correct?
I move we hold a public hearing on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025 at 6:40 PM in the meeting room, Selectmen's Meeting Room, to hear an application for amendment, change of manager for Westboro Beverage Corp. located at 352 Palmer Road, Ware, Mass. DBA Walmart Store 2386.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I remember doing these when I was on the planning board. Recommendations. All right, so we are going to look to review and approve recommendations for plowing and sanding of unfinished subdivision roads. Okay, so we have Del Air. Here's that there's no bears. They will not be plowing it. So we recommend that Del Air not be plowed or sanded. Coldbrook, it was in good shape. Lee, they recommend we can. Recommend that Wildflower. And Williston Drive after that red line, because it only goes in a couple 100 feet. That after that. So, anybody have any questions for Stuart on this here? These are pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, I move that the board approve the recommendation set forth in the letter of November 25th from Carly Smith, Director of Planning and Community Development relative to certain drives, roads in the town of Wayne.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, the next on the agenda, open meeting law complaint filed against the Hospital Review Committee by Stephen Grunland, dated November 13th, 2025. Acknowledge receipt of complaint, review and discuss board's response, vote to take any remedial action and authorize submission by response of town council.
So, in your packet is a copy of the complaint.
Yep.
And in front of you, added tonight, or in your packet, is a proposed response from Town Attorney KP Law, Nicole Costanzo, and the four-step process that the board should take on tonight. The difference between the letter that was in your boxes and the letter that's in front of you tonight is only a change in the conclusion, which is a sentence acknowledging that the board has, at past meetings, taken action to being aware of the open meeting law requirements and directing changes to how and who is taking minutes for each committee to make sure that each committee is properly taking minutes. So a very thorough letter, excuse me, a very thorough letter by Attorney Costanzo, addressing all the issues related to Mr. Grunland's complaint, which can be found on this form. There's 5 parts of the complaint and suggested actions, and the letter is to the Attorney General and will be copied as required to Mr. Grunland with a response. So if the board would acknowledge, can discuss pieces of the complaint as you wish, review, if you haven't already, review the draft response, and then authorize the town attorney to file that response, which is due in the fairly near future.
Has everybody looked at this? Is there room for discussion?
I'm not sure when we, part 2, it says discuss the hour. Do we discuss this, or do we just read them, what?
I'm happy to read them,
We
and
can
then it's up to you how you
Yeah, we
want
can
to
go through
address.
a brief description.
Yeah.
Okay, of the complaints?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said there's only 5 of them.
There's 5,
Wouldn't
right.
read this, I won't.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I'm not talking about reading.
No,
Okay.
he's talking about the small complaint. It's just a tiny
It's
form.
very small. Complaint 1. Oh. Do you want me to read the whole thing? Or just
Yep.
Okay. On November 13th, delivered to Nancy Talbot, from Stephen Grunland. My complaint's based on information learned during the final meeting of the Hospital Review Committee on October 16th, 2025, and from minutes approved that day dating back to October 5th, 2021, February 1st, 2023, March 5th, 2023, January 22nd, 2025, March 25th, 2025, and 10/16/2025. I also witnessed in person. On October 16th, 2025, as the meeting began, member Kathy Cassio stated on the record that she was uncomfortable about approving minutes going back to 2021 and 2023 because she could not remember back that far, and she hoped that no other committee would operate like this. She then said she could trust the information in the minutes was correct and would approve them. I commend her honesty, but feel it would have been better if she abstained from approving from 2021 and 2023. Complaint number 1. Minutes were not written, reviewed, or approved until they were 7, 9, 31, 33, and 48 months late by October 16, 2025. Complaint number 2, on October 16, 2025, Ms. Talbot asked permission to prepare minutes and asked for approval before they were written, quote, so we don't have to meet again, unquote. All then voted to approve meeting minutes to be prepared after the meeting tonight. He questions why. Complaint 3, recent review shows the committee conducted business without a quorum after all members except Nancy Talbot allowed conflict of interest certificates to expire in April 2023. The 5-member committee needed 3 for a quorum but met 17 months with only 1 having a certificate. I questioned their status on October 16th, 2024, asking Nancy Talbot, is this committee even legitimate? Ms. Talbot responded, I have no idea, that part in quotes. Despite having no idea, the meeting continued and a vote was taken. Without a quorum on November 13th, 2024, Ms. Talbot explained I was just making a smart remark about her response on 10/16/2024, and then said it was her fault. Complaint 4, recent review of notes show that Traish, meaning my interpretation, Dr. Traish, failed to notify the committee in advance that he was having an ex parte meetings with Bay State executives on Springfield area in 2024. Complaint number 5, I learned that the November 4th, 2025 select board meeting, referred to meeting video, when board chair Nancy Talbot read an October email from Dr. Traish that he now admits receiving payments from Bay State Health System up until September 2020. This certainly conflicts with his earlier claims at meetings that he did not work. I found that Dr. Traish was chosen to oversee and direct Bay State Health partnerships. Traish abruptly announced on January 22nd, 2025, the committee would be dissolved, and I had told him that I learned it was. Those are the lists of, there's a piece after intentional violations of ignoring requests for records, illegal votes, hiding financials, lack of quorums. I guess that's a summary. Those are the list of the complaints.
You guys wanna discuss it?
Do we want to read what he's requesting the corrective actions be?
I can do that.
Yes.
So part of the form, what action do you want this public body to take in response to your complaint? 1, an explanation from committee members and Mr. Beckley about minutes up to 4 years old. 2, explain how your committee approves minutes before they will be prepared after the meeting. 3, members met without the quorum. I asked the Ware Select Board to nullify actions votes of committee July 31st, 2023 through October 16th, 2024. 4, remove Dr. Traish from official Bay State negotiations. 5, seek statement from Dr. Traish regarding all money stipends received from Bay State Health January 2006 through December 2020.
So next we review the draft response prepared by town council.
Confirming all factual representations made and provisions needed.
I,
We can read this in the conclusion.
regarding the conclusion statement, as Stuart identified, there was updated and we're looking at the updated copy tonight. But I do remember us as a board having a conversation, and I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Stuart and Nicole, that we've looked at the minutes from that meeting yet, where we discussed this in public session, and we discussed that the minutes going forward to communicate to committee chairs, town, in this case specifically Stuart, will not be taking minutes, that committees have to ensure that's done at a committee level. We were exploring different technologies to help support the committees to do that, and we were going to remind the committee chairs of the requirement for posting the minutes in a timely manner. I believe, and have we accepted the minutes of that meeting yet? I'm drawing a blank if we have.
No. So thank you for bringing that up, because I do want to take a step back of why this is in front of the board. The town attorney recommended that since the hospital review committee has been dissolved, that you as the overseeing, appointing committee would take on that. And so that includes approving your minutes, but she also recommends ratifying the minutes that are a subject of complaint number 2, I think, which is the minutes of the last meeting of the hospital review committee.
Okay.
Should that be done before this is?
It'll be, it'll be on the next agenda,
Okay.
that last hospital committee.
Okay, but to my, I guess, I'm asking if it would be beneficial to include the statement of fact of what we said in a meeting that appears in the minutes to further bolster that the board, in concert with the selectmen on behalf of the town, have taken necessary steps to prevent this from happening again. Now, I'm not an attorney, so I didn't write the letter, but I'd like to have a strong conclusion there that shows not only are we aware of it, we've taken affirmative action, and it's a matter of the public record.
I would agree with you, 100%.
Me too. So, add that sentence as the second to last sentence of the first paragraph?
Yes.
Yeah. If that's okay.
Yeah.
So with that change, I would, if it's appropriate, Mr. Chair, I would move that the board approve the draft as prepared by council and amended by our comment today. And then authorize that it be sent to the complainant and the Division of Open Government.
All right, yes, so.
Yeah, and furthermore, I'd recommend that you actually read into the document the conclusion of this as part of the overall record.
Okay.
You read that, that way the people that are watching know what we have concluded.
You want me to read it then? Yeah. I can read it.
Are you thinking how we're gonna add that sentence, Stuart?
Yeah, just the exact language. So the board at their meeting of, whatever that was, took steps to, if you could say your words again.
We moved and voted on that, didn't we?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, there's the.
Moved to notify all board, commission, committee chairs, the town administrator, manager, longer, take minutes, should be committee responsibility. And remind all, submit minutes in a timely manner. So here's what I've got written, Stuart, tell me if this makes sense. The select board at the meeting of blah moved to notify all board, committee, and commission chairs the town manager would no longer take minutes, that the committee should make arrangements to have it done, and that all minutes need to be submitted for public posting in a timely manner. So there's the statement, but additionally, we talked about researching technology. I don't think we have to get into that, but I think that's, does that seem to be the crux of it, Stuart?
Yes.
So when we read the conclusion, I can read that into it if you want. You want me to do that?
Absolutely.
All right, so I'll read the conclusion, then I'll add that into it. So, the conclusion. The Select Board recognizes the importance of complying with the open meeting law and takes this opportunity to reaffirm its commitment to the open meeting law, including ensuring that future appointed committees be advised of all open meeting law requirements. The Select Board has already taken steps to remind the public bodies in town of their obligations under open meeting law, and has been scheduling annual open meeting law trainings where all members, and especially chairs, are encouraged to attend. The Select Board at their meeting of the date moved to notify all boards and chairs that the town manager would no longer take minutes, and minutes should be recorded at the committee level, and the committee should make those arrangements. Also, all committees were reminded of the need to submit minutes in a timely manner for public posting. The Select Board will also ensure that administrative staff responsible for the preparation of agendas and minutes attend future trainings. However, since the committee, referring to the Hospital Review Committee, is no longer active, there is no further remedial action of the committee necessary at this time. Based on the foregoing, the Select Board respectfully submits that this matter is resolved and there is no further action required.
And that was set forth in the letter of November 26th.
Yes, that's the letter of November 26, 2025.
Thank you.
Okay, so we,
So we vote, now we make a vote to
Yep.
accept the conclusion.
Yep.
And so make a,
did we get a second on that? I made the motion, did somebody?
Go on a second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And now we have hydrant flow test application form.
What is this?
So,
Thank you, John.
Ken is here and can explain, but various developers do request the DPW to do hydrant flow tests, and because there's a proposed fee associated that thought it should come before the board for approval. Ken, do you want to say more about?
Yeah, the department gets requests from insurance companies, as Stuart said, brokers, real estate agents, property owners. Generally, it's commercial based and or resident, and then there's the residentials also. When they're asking for these requests, what happens is you go out and they put a gauge on the hydrant, and they flow a separate hydrant, essentially just wasting the water, as it were, to get a test on the hydrant for pressure, both static and residual, and then they're looking for the gallons per minute that the hydrant or the water main can flow. Generally, that's for insurance purposes, but it also will also determine what kind of business would go into a certain building based on what's available, as well as fire flow testing at the same time. The bottom line for the department or the town is that when these tests are being done, the amount of water that's being flushed out into a drain or the street, whichever, is an unaccounted for water or a loss for the town based on that. So hence the fee for the application. The fee, I believe, is $125 is the minimum rate for commercial currently. With brief investigation into it, I found municipalities, generally in Massachusetts, are anywhere from $60 upwards to $475 per test. The positive side of it for the town and the department is we would receive those results from those tests and be able to add them into our database for pressure in the area, flow in the area, and again, any of the other data that they receive. We currently don't receive that data. We also don't have the water department, the water division will go out and do these flow tests with the companies, and they shut down the hydrants and they go their way, and that's it. The town receives no compensation for the loss of the water, nor do we receive the data back. So by putting this in place, we would gain both those things for the town, the revenue for the lost water as well as the data to add to our records.
Ken, a question? So
Sure.
this fee is focused on recouping the cost of water. Is there any thought about recouping the cost of town labor to supervise and perform the test?
Hadn't thought of that. I just went with the base rate for commercial, figuring if this is gonna be a new process for the department. Obviously, I put that as a rate. The board can certainly change that however they see fit.
Yeah, I'm supportive of it, but Stuart, do we have any other, are you aware of any other types of services we're doing at a town level where staff is doing it for a private entity and we're charging for that town staff to perform that service?
Probably blanking, I'm sure there are, but not off the top of my head.
Well, backflow prevention.
I mean,
Backflow permits, prevention?
town's not performing that. The town's not performing that,
We do the quarterly inspections, don't we?
not right now.
Okay.
It's like sort of like a police detail actually, so that's one case where our fire details.
So there is precedence?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I would, if I understand the reason for this, it's to meet the needs of a private entity using town resources to get them data. Now, it's good that we get the data back, it's good that we're compensating for the water, but we have a sunk cost in labor, and if we could get something to recoup, something of a labor expense for a flat fee, I think that,
Why not?
I think it would be a good, approach. Ken, about how many of these do you think get done a year?
Probably offhand, maybe a half a dozen. I guess that depends on any kind of development rates or anything like that, but
Yep.
probably on the high side of half a dozen right now. If I might, on the labor rate involved with that, other municipalities just consider that the people who are requesting it, unless it's an insurance company, are generally taxpayers within the town and just kind of considered part of the service. Just food for thought.
Good point.
How long does the service take for a town employee?
Probably an average anywhere from half to an hour. Providing no complications.
Which would, on average, probably $50 then of overtime would be about, for an hour of overtime would be about $50, so.
Well, I certainly support the concept of having a permit in an application process and the concept of recouping. I think $150 base starting for recouping the cost of water is reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm open, that comment about if it's mainly residents that are having this service done, then you really, I respect the fact you don't want to charge them for something they may already be compensating the town for through either taxes or water rates. So maybe we should let that question lie on the side for now and focus on recouping the lost water.
Yeah, I think so, I think that's right.
So what do you need from us?
An approval of the form and the fee.
All right, so look for a motion to approve the form and the fee for the hydrant flow testing.
Second.
And
I'll-
Put the amount
What's the
of money
fee?
on there?
What's the fee?
Was it 100?
Yeah, I'll move that we approve the form submitted by Public Works for hydrant flow test application, and that the rate be $150 for the loss of water.
All right, so we have,
So it's no labor, it's just gonna
No
be
labor.
the,
all right, so we have
materials.
so we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Jack seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we have a sanitary sewer follow-up.
So Ken's here as well as
Ken's back.
Jeff Faulkner from Time Bond as well.
Okay.
Two purposes, give an update on the town's response to the sanitary survey, findings of DEP, but also to, and main reason Jeff is here, to look at to choose an alternate response to PFAS and where the town wants to move, how the town wants to move forward. Do you want-
All right.
So you want to do the sanitary survey first?
Yes, Ken, you want to update the board on the response that was provided to DEP?
Sure. Do you have the packet of responses that I sent to the DEP
We do.
on October 24th?
We do.
Okay, so I was looking to, I completed the compliance plan response form that they requested, and then the summary of findings. Citation 1 was the emergency response plan, dates 2009. We did find in our files one that was dated for 2014, however, still way out of date, but when we dove into what was labeled 2014 as a revision, was actually the 2009 existing. I did respond back to them. We have scheduled training on the 10th, which is Wednesday next at 7:30 is a full day training for the water division, as well as the operations manager and Carmen Warsaw as administrative assistant, because she does deal with the billing and stuff as part of it. So that training will be part of it. The balance of the emergency response plan, Ty and Mon will be working on. The state did revisions after January 1 this year, so no one is ready to jump right in and update their emergency response plan until those revisions are sent out, so they can all be done at once, as to not incur double the cost to redo the plan. So it is up and working, and that's part of, was in my response to them, where we stood on that. Let's see. I basically worked on the ones that were due close in time. So citation table A number 2 for the records management and the ASRs. They were looking for all the subsequent ASRs, and that is in process.
What's an ASR?
Sorry?
What is an ASR? What is an ASR?
Yeah, I heard that. Sorry, I'm lost in acronyms at the moment.
Okay.
And I can help with that if you want.
Thanks, Jeff. I was hoping you were gonna jump in.
Yeah. And ASR stands for Annual Statistics Report.
That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put a senior card on that one. Table B, citation 1 is not due until the end of next year. which is the system management and operation. The same with systems management and operation in citation 2 is going to be also the end of next year. As part of the asset management plan will be playing a part of that. The evaluation checklist section, I'm on page 35 of 38. The new operations manager, John Stanton. I need to respond to the DEP. I'm creating, now that he started this past week, I can create that response and get that out to the DEP, where we stand on that. We have until December 31st of 26 on citation 4, table B, the continued use of the cistern. Citation 5, failure to report the amount of water sold to a consecutive public water system. That was reported to the DEP in error. We do not sell water to Primo Water filtration station at Walmart. Walmart actually sells the water to Primo. We sell the water to Walmart. Primo's filtration station is hooked up into Walmart's water system after the water meter. So that was reported in error, and I made that correction with them, with evidence to that fact. Citation 6, updating the distribution map. That's also going to be part of our asset management plan. Jeff will probably be filling in on that as time on is working on that. Page 36, citation 7, the cross-connection control program. The sub-delegation form was not on file. I took care of that form, filled it out, put it in, and also sent with it the cross-connection results report findings from Toomey, the vendor we hired to do that program. Citation 8, elevated levels of PFAS and manganese. That is also something that's in process. With time on, I imagine Jeff will touch on that also. Page 37, citation 9, for the lead galvanized unknown material in the lead and copper rule. The letters, the annual letters are ready to go out to the public. We will have them out before the end of the month to keep us in compliance with that. And then we'll be going from there. We do have some time. Again, it's the working document through November 1st of 2027. So we have some time there. The pages following page 37 are my cover letters and responses to the citations that I sent to them, including the paperwork that they were requesting. That's where we stand from my perspective on it. Again, Jeff from Ty and Bond would be able to fill in the board on some of the other aspects of it.
All right. Jeff, how are you? You're up, buddy.
Good, good. How are you tonight?
Good.
Yeah, I can add a little bit to what Ken mentioned for some work that we're involved in. One is an asset management project for the drinking water system. That is, the town got a grant to perform some of that work. That kicked off about 2 months ago, and it's supposed to last through about a year from now. So October, November timeframe, it will wrap up. As part of that project, we're going to be investigating, visiting some sites, water department sites, and evaluating the assets and inventorying them, including updating the distribution system map, which I know was one of those items that Ken mentioned. Probably the most significant item on the list was related to PFAS. PFAS is a PFAS, It's per in polyfluoroalkyl substances. I don't really want to say that again, but if you need me to, I will. It's a family of man-made compounds that is a contaminant of water systems, throughout the world, actually. And it's regulated where meets the current Massachusetts regulations, and they meet the current federal regulations. However, the federal regulations are in regulation going to be lowered for a couple of those compounds. And there's one site that Ware has as a source that is above the PFAS limit that will be in the future federal regulation. So about a year or so ago, we prepared final report dated April 2025, a report called PFAS Master Plan. And DEP must have seen that when they were doing their sanitary survey, and they've asked the town to make a decision on their approach in how to move forward with dealing with PFAS. In the report we wrote, we laid out 5 options with the ultimate expectation that Ware will eventually have to treat for PFAS once the federal regulations are in effect, or also because Massachusetts is required in time to be as strict as federal regulations, so Massachusetts will likely lower their limits in the future as well. The long-term aspects of that is PFAS treatment. All of the sites in Ware have PFAS at some level. The one site, well 5, is the one that's currently higher than the pending or future federal regulation. So there's a couple of options the town could consider. One is a treatment plant at solely well number 5. One could be 2 treatment plants, one at well number 5 and one at the Barnes well site, which is collecting several other wells. Or a third option would be to pipe the water from well 5 to Barnes and just do a single larger treatment plant at that location. The costs of that, are considerable. The preliminary report, this conceptual report, had that in the over $30 million price tag range. Conceptual, though, not fully developed to the detailed design stage. However, one option to move the ball forward is to take advantage of what was mentioned in the sanitary survey by DEP as some additional grant money that might be available for this work to get the process started. So the steps towards PFAS treatment include what's called pilot testing, basically trying to confirm that the best type of media or best type of treatment to remove PFAS from Ware's water. So that phase could be applied for with this emerging contaminants grant, they call it. And that would be, it's not 100% guaranteed that the grant is going to be awarded, but it's a pretty high likelihood since they kind of recommended you approach that grant funding in the sanitary survey. With that, there would also be the potential to merge that with the manganese, iron and manganese type of treatment that is also expected to be needed in Ware as well. The iron and manganese is what causes discoloration in water, red or brown or black colors in water over time if it gets disturbed. That would be treated as like a pre-treatment method before it got to the PFAS treatment system. So it would be a combination of solving several treatment problems, with a larger treatment plant project. Does that make sense? Any questions to that point? Right.
I'm not hearing any. Anybody have any?
Okay.
I'm still processing. There's some big numbers in play here.
It's a lot, yeah.
How many other communities, excuse me, are faced with the same PFAC problem?
Yeah, the PFAS.
Yeah.
So I don't know exact numbers, but 30 or 50 or 60 communities that have already had to deal with it because they were above the Massachusetts regulation.
Okay.
We've done, multiple, 8, 10, 15 treatment plants that have PFAS treatment in it at this point. And this is relatively new. It's only been in the last 5 years that this has become regulated at the lower levels.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So Jeff, did I hear when you were beginning about where we are with our current levels, that we do not, relative to the Massachusetts requirement, we're not above the Massachusetts limits, is that correct?
Correct. As of today, yep.
And regarding the federal requirements, we're not above the current federal requirements, correct?
Correct.
But there's concern that in the future, that number is going to drop lower. And at that point, did I hear it's only one well that will be non-compliant, or will all water sources be non-compliant if that number drops to what you think it might?
So one would be impacted specifically, but the other sources have PFAS, and this is measured in parts per trillion. We sometimes measure iron and manganese in parts per million. Some compounds get measured in parts per billion. This PFAS is actually measured in parts per trillion. So it's very small quantities of the compound are meet the regulation limit. I will add. Sometimes it's a little bit confusing. So the current limits for the federal government, the WARE is fine with. However, the federal regulation is already implemented that it will drop in the future. There's just a delay in the implementation date for that. Basically time for towns to plan, design, bid, build, construct the projects in order to meet the future limit. It's supposed to drop in the year 2029 to that lower number.
And DEP is looking for the select board to make a determination and advise them by December 1st?
Which of the 5 alternatives you would recommend? And Jeff added in mentioning the emerging contaminants grant as part of that response. Jeff, did you, I know the report gives 5 alternatives, did you have a recommended path, or do you think it's based on cost?
Yes, so I will let you know that I think I mentioned 3 alternatives just a few minutes ago. We actually presented 5 in the report. One of the alternative number 1, it doesn't really address your PFAS issue that DEP is asking you about, but you are implementing alternative 1 in that you're proceeding to connect or start the process to connect 2 wells at Barn Street that have been drilled but just not connected to the water system yet. So you are on that track already. The decision, I guess, Stuart, from the board, in terms of making a recommendation, ultimately, I envision the town will need to treat for PFAS. So the decisions or the things to think about in what treatment alternative you'd like to consider is the treatment at just the one site that is currently expected to be over the limit. Do you want to treat at both sites that have PFAS, one being over the limit, one not being over the limit? Or do you want to move the PFAS water from well 5, the water from well 5 to Barnes and collectively treat it at one site?
That's the one.
each of them have pluses and minuses. Alternative 4 and 5, or the two treatment plants or the one large treatment plant, both basically have the same cost, at least at the conceptual level. And they ultimately provide a more robust solution of treating for the iron and manganese that's in the raw water as well. The ultimate decision, although DEP is looking for a choice from the town now, the ultimate decision could be right now just to proceed with pilot testing of that, which could either go to either of those three options to continue the process and make informed decisions once you have that pilot study done. I suspect DEP would allow that.
If we did the pilot study, does that still keep us in the queue for that grant opportunity they mentioned? Or
Yeah, so
go ahead.
So so what would happen is, based on a little bit of feedback that is obtained this evening, we would help the town prepare the application for that grant, and that would include paying for the pilot study. So that would be the ultimate expectation, is that grant would pay for that pilot study.
And we would have to identify which of the alternatives you identified at the same time, correct?
A direction,
Yeah, okay.
it would be helpful, not that you couldn't shift at the completion of that study, but that would at least help the first phase.
So Josh, you said alternative 5 with the one treatment plant.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, yeah, it's gonna cost more, but not in the long run. When you have two buildings, that's much more maintenance, just overall maintenance wise. You have one building, it's significantly less maintenance. Everything's on one platform. That means you have more people running back and forth. Liability of accidents and personnel's injuries go up. Having everything done at one will save money in the long run. But I think that's the really only option we have as a town moving forward, is to get it under one roof into one treatment plant where it's all controlled right then and there. I really don't see any other option for anything else. That's just me though. In option 5 also, it looked like it was 2.25 million gallons per day of a treatment, where this is less by quite a bit for and whatnot. I think that 5 is the only thing that we should be looking at to be doing.
Stuart, do we have time to run this past the infrastructure committee, to have them take a look at it? And
Well, the big questions of which alternative, I would say yes, but I do think, I agree with Jeff that at least as an initial answer to give to DEP is that we would like to move forward with a pilot study to help us and the infrastructure committee decide which one.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's, the problem is, this town, it's needed this for a while, and
Yeah.
it's always going
And-
to get voted down.
And the treatment plant, besides dealing with PFAS, would also deal with the manganese
And iron.
and the other quality issues.
Not necessarily.
Because I know we still have iron pipes,
And that's the source of the problem.
I know, but we're gonna, hopefully,
This is, what's in the source water is very, very small.
yeah.
If it was just source water, you wouldn't even have to be discussing this.
But because of the chlorine we introduce, in the amounts we introduce, doesn't that accelerate some of the?
Somewhat, but the thing is, it's overwhelmingly the cast iron pipes, and every time you see it, every time there's a flushing action, every time there's a disruption, you see it every,
So,
so normally, you don't see this.
so introducing,
So, well, many towns have this.
I'm sorry.
We are not alone on iron and mine.
Oh, no, of course not.
Okay.
no,
I didn't say that. But I said that the source of this iron manganese is the cast iron pipes. The primary source of this is the cast iron pipes.
so if we introduce another treatment system that's using chemicals, if I heard correctly, we're gonna be treating for the PFAS before we treat for the water quality. Is that gonna add anything else to the water supply that's gonna accelerate any of that reaction we're having in the cast iron pipes.
Jeff?
So I guess I'll kind of provide a little bit more information which might help understand that a little bit better. So DEP's comments are related to the water at the point of entry into the system. So the well or the treatment plant, pump station. So PFAS doesn't go away, in the distribution system, so it's going to be there anyway. So the PFAS issue is still needs treatment.
Okay.
The iron and manganese issue is a dual issue. Lots of old pipes are in the water system. The asset management project is going to make recommendations to replace water mains, old water mains, and ones that have restricted flow, probably because they're tuberculated with iron and manganese. But it's really both issues need to be looked at. It's not one or the other.
Okay, so, Mr. Chair, I would move the select board endorse moving forward with a pilot study.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
Sure.
Jack seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
guys very much.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Good night.
Thank you, good.
And we have discussion of the town meeting. I lost my agenda.
All right, yeah, I can do that very quickly.
All right.
The board had chosen January 26th for a special town meeting date and established a schedule based on that. Fortunately, Madam Moderator is not available that week, so just want to bring back to the board, would you like to change the date? She's available the week before or the week after.
Let's do it the week after.
Stick to Monday.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so
Whatever that is.
Would you want
February,
to schedule it just because of the weather conditions, an alternative at the same time?
February 2nd, I think it would be.
I think that sounds right.
I'm just
Yeah.
tossing that out. I mean, I hate to see a snowstorm, and if we build in an alternative, that might be something you might want to consider.
Okay. Just keep them both that same week?
Yeah,
Okay, so second and
doesn't
fifth.
hurt.
2nd and 5th.
Yeah, Monday and whatever,
Okay.
Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
we need a vote on that? No.
that'd be great.
Okay, we got a motion to change the meeting, to February 2nd? Is that what that was?
I think so.
And the snow, with the snow date being, February 5th? 4th?
Fourth.
We're
Second and
five.
fourth. That was my fault. I did.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, then we have, select board roundtable discussion. And if you guys
Just
don't
one
mind.
minor one. We had a letter from National Grid, and they want information on the power lines and public water supplies, which we can provide them. But they also state in here, on private wells as well, private wells, yeah, in addition. And I would suggest we send this over to the Board of Health to have them check on if there's any private wells along any
Yeah.
of these waterways that the
And the other,
National Grid has.
I would add to that we send it to the Conservation Commission too, just for their awareness.
Sure.
They already have?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
Both
involved.
boards do.
All right, thank you.
Just,
What's Stuart?
I was just gonna remind the board, this is about the doubling of the size of the substation.
Yeah,
On the-
so just so that anybody
What?
has any concern with the wells, and the use of herbicides, the state already governs the regulations on how close, chemicals can come to any type of a well, such as moving water, wells, whatever it is. National Grid has always done an excellent job of making sure that their contractors have the licenses and the proper insurances to do all of this work.
Yeah. Oh, Stuart, this letter is about
As I said,
the
this is what they
routine
recommended.
maintenance, the vegetation control, not the substation work.
Okay, so it's about the power lines.
Yes, it's right away over the
Yeah.
high power lines, yeah.
Okay.
All right,
All right, that's it.
then we have the town manager's report. I have to leave to go to my kids.
Okay. Thanks for hanging in there.
Hey.
Stuart, are you
It's been a hell of a
gonna
week.
hit
Tomorrow I put my dog down.
where?
The crosswalk?
The crosswalk and all that?
Right.
Yes, I've done it.
We'll see you. Yes, you as well, thanks, Josh.
Okay. So starting at the top of the events, just congratulations to everyone involved with the Ware Flare. It was very well attended on a chilly night, and the tree lighting went well. The street looks great. Santa did arrive and talked to many people. We did have concerns with the traffic flow during the event, so have discussed that with the police chief, and he has ideas for how to improve that for next year about going back to blocking off the road and keeping everything safe but flowing. So those changes will be in place for next year. This weekend upstairs here in the Great Hall is the Celebrate the Season Wreath and Tree display and auction. So that's 10 to 3 on Saturday and Sunday. So hope people will attend that. Great event.
Excuse me, I'd just like to back up a minute. On Memorial Field and Town Hall, any thoughts given to contacting the vocational school as having people that are studying carpentry work on this?
That would be,
I'm just
I'm
tossing it
happy to
out.
reach out to Pathfinder, particularly for the Town Hall project.
No, I meant
That's
for the bathrooms.
Yes,
Could you just look into that?
I can ask Pathfinder for that, yes.
No. Okay, thank you.
Town meeting, great. I've proposed a change in the organization structure of the accounting and human resource department. Doesn't change the number of positions or the cost, but provides a part-time benefits person and ties that to the human resource department, and keeps payroll and expenses with the town accountant and an assistant town accountant. Just shuffles the space around, and the bottom line is we are looking for a part-time benefits person to add as staff. The Buckley Court project is complete as of Tuesday. Came during the snow and worked on it, and so that project's good. We will try to work with the fire department to actually test the system at some point when we won't be creating ice.
Thanks, Stuart.
Sorry it took so long, but it's a very important project, and the Army Corps will be happy that it's complete.
Yeah, awesome.
Let's see, as part of the demolition project on Main Street, determined that it'd be more efficient for the town to hire a singular asbestos material surveyor to review the buildings. That information will be provided to contractors. Coincidentally, yesterday, we did receive a call from the property owner looking to work with the town to demolish and then redevelop the property. Indicated great, but we're still moving forward.
Okay.
And, as he can provide more details with an architect and with financial sources, it would be great to work with him for him to demolish the buildings and redevelop the property.
Staying on schedule as much as we can.
Right, so, thank you. The asbestos study will probably add 10 days, so rather than bids being due December 15th, it'll be more likely, the week after the holidays, or between the two holidays, that we would get those bids, and therefore the original board motion was to complete the work by end of February, and I expect that to
Okay,
occur.
all right, thank you.
Stage curtain has been encapsulated, asbestos concerns removed from the Great Hall upstairs, and the space has been used last weekend for Santa, and starting this week, the pickleball has started reusing the facility as well. Church Street water tank is back online. It did stir up the system, causing a good amount of discoloration. The contractor has moved on to Anderson Road to do some preliminary work there to prepare for the same process when spring arrives. Thanks to Nicole, we have solved, or at least locally, and the code red situation, so that we will, it's a different but similar system, or similar, not that different. Anyway, we'll be able to send out messages to the town as of today.
And is that
Good job, Nicole.
transferring all of the data from Code Red in, or is it a partial data set?
March,
Partial, right?
March,
Great.
everybody else?
Yep. So, partial, what the data that they have is through March of 2025. So anyone who may have signed up after that, we will try and figure out how they can re-sign up.
And will I'm sorry, Nicole?
Go ahead.
They could call me and I can sign them up.
Okay.
I don't know how to link it on the website yet.
Okay, so the link on the website is not the way to sign up. The way is to call Nicole at 413-96...
679648, extension 101.
9648, extension 101, and Nicole will sign you up. Okay, great.
Yep.
Will we do a Facebook posting on that?
Definitely. The one that's up there is very detailed, and we will make it easier to,
Okay, thank you.
Tell people
And let them know, yeah, that the web link is not working.
yep.
Okay.
With apologies, we are not going to get to the Cherry Street crosswalk. We researched a paint that works in cold weather, but it's not gonna work, so we'll do it right when the weather's warmer. The board had asked for insurance consultant to attend a future meeting. She is more than willing to come, so if you wanna pick a date, either January 6th or January 20th, I'd suggest.
January 20th.
January 20th.
Yep. Yeah, the 6th.
Invite the finance committee,
I think that would be great. Is this something the schools would
school department, sure.
they have an interest in?
Yes.
Okay. Wood Hardwick?
And then the last paragraph is just a summary that Mr. Desmond's been looking for of the 3 projects that'll be going on in the spring on Church Street, East Main Street, and Cottage Street. The Cottage Street project, what was requested in the application is to do the infrastructure. So that will be the project, is the water and I believe sewer. And then a future grant would pay for the paving and sidewalks.
Yeah, I have questions on it, again, it's like a broken record. This East Main Street, I don't know much about this. The East Main Street, the project starts at basically the town hall, excuse me, the library. Main
Just
Street,
that,
approximately, okay.
Right, approximately,
And then
yeah.
where does it go?
to the canal bridge.
Huh?
To the canal bridge.
To the canal bridge, okay. Now, what's going to happen, then, we're going to have a water line, a new water line,
Yes,
okay, a new sewer line,
yes,
okay, new storm drain,
if needed.
huh,
I-
maybe,
Maybe
okay, okay. Sidewalks,
sidewalks and
okay,
paving.
and paving, okay. Now, when this happens, all the people that are presently served on this are going to have a whole new line for themselves. Right? a new, you're gonna put a new pipe in, so then you would have to have a service line from the new pipe to the, Games, for example, or Dulac, any place that has a water supply.
We would offer that. Some have
Okay.
already done
Are
it.
they aware of all of this happening?
Some have already done it. For example, the brewery and the old Gabe's building has already installed that spur.
Gabe's has already installed a
Some
spur.
are already connected.
But I thought you said there's gonna be a new water line.
Yes.
Well, if you have a new water line, then,
I don't know, John, I guess.
well, I guess
do
that's my
know-
concern.
I do know that they put in a new spur. They may have to be reconnected, but yes, you are correct. There will be a new water line. They will have to reconnect to it.
Yeah, that's my concern, that I think people should know and understand exactly
Yeah.
what is happening during this whole construction project. You know, that the new line's gonna go in. Now, the town normally pays from the street to the property line,
Yes.
okay? And then from the property line in is the responsibility of the property owner.
Yes.
Okay, so that they then would be responsible for the new sewer line and the new water line. Okay, I just,
Correct, although I think our regs say from the line.
okay, well, and just what I'm saying, that's why I think it would be important to have a public meeting to just make sure people understand that. Now, when all this takes place, this is a major construction activity. Is this Main Street, is this area gonna be shut down? Is there gonna be detours?
Yeah, for that section, I imagine it'll be similar to Main Street, where we maintained traffic. We didn't block both ways, but there were detours.
Right, so that all, from the library, basically to the bridge, is going to be all blocked off.
That's not what I said. I said it'd probably be one way. So
think they
when we did Main Street, we
Do
routed
you think they'll be
over.
able to do it one way?
I don't know. That's
Well,
not,
see, I mean, the thing is, we're at a point now, it's gonna be starting in 3 months, and here we are, well, we don't know what's gonna happen. That's why I think it's important, you know, that people know and understand, you know, what's coming down. I'm not opposing this at all, but I'm making sure that people are fully informed as to what's going to be happening.
very reasonable, yes.
And I know the people that, like we just had today,
Last time,
the brewery.
Yeah.
How will they be impacted by it? You know, will people be able to get there?
Yeah.
So these are the things that we really have to get, and people fully have to understand what the issues
So-
are. And the other question would be, how long would this project take? Okay, I'm just asking, I'm not asking for an answer.
Okay.
But we should have some sense of, this is a
Yeah.
big project. I mean, what's going on in the timeframes for this? And if we have to have a bypass, where will it be? Just get involved.
Stuart, is it reasonable to say that maybe at the January 20 meeting, that we get a project overview of the East Main Street project to address some of John's questions?
Yes, I can ask
Okay.
the engineer.
And that we also redevelop, we talk about the communications piece as well,
Yeah.
how we're gonna get the message
It's
out.
public, and the thing is, hopefully the people that are impacted by it might also attend, because if they have concerns or questions, let's get these resolved, the earlier the better.
Yeah, so if we,
You don't-
January
you don't want
20.
the project started,
We can do
and then-
insurance and roads.
Yeah, okay, that's that one. Let's go to Church Street.
Sidewalks,
Now, this one is basically the sidewalks.
it's only.
Only the sidewalk. Now, but if you do the sidewalks, the curb stops are gonna be in the sidewalk for the most part, for water services. Now, are they gonna be dug up when they do this?
I have asked the engineer for
Okay,
that
well,
detail.
I mean, I guess the question would be, if that's happening, would it make sense for the people that are involved with this to maybe to have their line redone at their own expense? Because this is an opportunity here, if the thing is partly dug up, it might be a chance for them to put in a new line. I don't know, how old those lines are, but I know that's an old part of town. And if it's an old system, that would happen. And the other part is I just kind of, you know, if we put in new sidewalks, okay, then 2 or 3 years from now, say, oh, by the way, we're gonna put in a new water line. Does that mean that we have to tear up all the sidewalks to put a service in for each home? Can we do anything as far as putting in like a dummy line or a pipe that, in the future, so if a new line, if a water line is installed, that we would have some way of getting the water and sewer without having to dig up sidewalks all over again?
Good point.
I'm just raising
Can
that.
they come to the January 20 meeting?
Well, the thing
It's the
is,
same engineer.
Oh, perfect.
yeah,
All right.
okay.
Is he the same one on the third project too?
Wait a minute. And the other was, if I could just find out what, I understand the prospect, which is really a good project. To just know what is it's phase 1, 2, and 3, you know, what these are and what phase 1 is. Again, so the people that live on Prospect Street, you know what's happening on their street.
Yes.
Just-
So phase 1 is the utility lines.
Okay. Well, if it's simply that, then, that's fine. Oh, by the way, just as a curiosity, when you're putting in the East Main Street, did anybody talk to the power company about running some lines instead of having telephone lines? I don't know. Is that possible? Something to think about.
So to bring the lines underground,
Yeah.
we have not, but
As I said, I'm just putting this on the table. I'm not sure.
Oh, wait.
But if all that work is gonna be done,
okay.
You
I
have to say, well-
I have to go look at it.
huh?
Oh, it's on the opposite side of the street. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, as I said, we're in the discussion process now, and at least to say that we made an informed decision. We looked at this, we said, yes, we did, look at that, and that's what I want to have happen, rather than be there when construction starts, people don't know what's going on. All right,
Okay.
okay. Couple of other issues. I'm on a roll.
Okay.
The pavement management plan, how's that going? You're supposed to get that report?
Supposed to get it by the end of the December.
Okay. And also on the, a while ago, we talked about the possibility of having a solar farm on a landfill. Could you, have you checked at all with the state as far as the track record of any other solar farms that have been put on landfills? I'm not necessarily, again, opposing it, but that landfill cost us $2 million to put that cap. And
Yeah,
if
you
you're
don't
gonna
want
put
to penetrate
something
it.
on this, that might destroy it or damage the cap, this could be a very negative thing. So we want to be very careful and well-informed on putting and doing anything on the landfill. I remember when we first put it there, saying, don't do anything.
Yeah.
So, yes, we could look at it, but we want to make sure that it's not going to be detrimental in the long run.
Now's the time to do it.
Now's the time to do it. That's all, folks.
Yeah.
That enough.
Stuart, I got just one thing. I'd like to give kudos to the EMTs. I had an unexpected trip to cardiology at Bay State Medical Center, and I know I'm gonna mess up one of the names. Dakota is one of the.
Harper.
Yeah, he was awesome. And the other one was a D name too, and I asked him twice, and then old age struck. I'm thinking of maybe Dan or Dean, but there was another D.
Okay,
D
we'll
name.
find out who.
But they were awesome. They were really awesome, and you don't know what it's like until you go. And I appreciate their expertise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a chance to stop by the Milltown Animal Control and get a visit. They had an open house.
Yeah,
Stuart, the earmark that they received the funding for the new vehicle, was that Rep. Samola, and do you know who was responsible for that earmark?
I don't know which legislature it was.
If we can find out, I think it would be great to send a letter to them thanking them. And I had a chance to talk with Sydney, who's one of the ACOs, and got a tour of the facility. They can always use blankets, towels, and pet items, so anyone looking to donate things to support that. The facility is clean, the facility is well kept, they're very attentive to the care of the animals, so it was an impressive tour. The town was well served by them. We had a couple new businesses open up in town, Sculpted Well and Bonded by Stacy, and there's a new Reiki office down at the Stone Mill. So that's 3 new businesses that are small businesses that are coming to town, so that's great. You got the Lost Town Brewery, you got
exercise place?
Fieldcrest, yeah, and the other over on Vernon Street, there might be another exercise studio coming. So
What's the business of the first two that you mentioned?
one is personal fitness,
Okay,
and the second I think might be more of a beauty and self-care type of operation. I'm not 100% sure.
all right.
But I just think it's great that we have 3 new
Yes.
businesses and welcome them to town.
Yeah,
Want to acknowledge Nate Falk and all the good people that helped with the Code for Kids initiative, along with the Knights. The Knights and the Lions for donating $100 to the senior center, $100. And we know Ware PD is doing the Ware Christmas for Kids, as well as the fire department is doing their drive as well. So a lot of good things happening in the community. If people are looking for an opportunity to get engaged this holiday and make a difference in people's lives, there's certainly plenty of opportunity to do that, so. That's all I got.
awesome. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, Richard. Anyone else? If not, make a motion.
Move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn at 8:11.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
thank you.